Take them to the board.
I say, leave the value to us if you're not going to bet the home dogs because we're excited. It's the board. It's brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. First game, Commanders. You reference them. They are home dogs this week. They're getting 6.5, welcoming the Philadelphia Eagles.
Commanders.
They played them tough. They played them overtime this year. They beat them last year.
There's the key. Desperate divisional dog. This is a triple D. Jonathan Allen after the game against the Giants. First of all, I want to come to work dressed that way.
With the do-rag?
Do-rag, aviators, and just first person who asked me a question in this office, and I just go, I'm sick of this bullshit. I'm sick of it. Which is factually true, but that's time for another day. My point is, you can't lay 7 points in a divisional game. Now, I think you've got a great note here, Jim. Credit to you. The concern level will be, if you cannot protect Sam Howell, how do you win a football game? The Eagles front versus a Commanders O-line that has gotten this kid killed. You've got the specifics. It's principle play. And maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe this ends up being Eagles 38-10, but it's the same principle. We bet the Patriots last week, getting the 8.5 against the Bills. You're going to do the same goddamn thing here. It's Washington, off a loss, coming home. Eagles, huge emotional high, huge win, going on the road, and they're flipping you the 6.5. You got to bite down hard. I think you got to take the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, if you want the pinch your nose stat, the I don't want to smell how bad Washington is stat.
Oh, this is going to be hideous. Sam
Howell sacked 40 times through 7 games, okay?
What's the you always make this sad trombone noise. That's, honestly, there should be a t-shirt with that on it.
7 games, 40 sacks. Do you know what that paces over a full season?
110?
97.
Dear Christ.
The record, everybody remembers, it was David Carr's 76 sacks in 2002. 97 sack pace. They are getting him killed. Does that eventually come back to bite them?
Yes.
Do they get rolled a couple times this season because of it?
It's one strip sack. It's one tipped ball. It's one. Jim, the opportunity to lose this game, even with the 6.5, is copious.
Yep.
And if you want to tell me, guys, I need 7 or more, well, the book knows that.
Yep.
If you want to try to play it live, you want to try to wait for that.
That's fine.
If
We've done that.
You could play minus 125 when they flash a 7.5. But we do a real podcast where we're not shysters. I'm going to bet the Commanders, and I have to. Would I put the Commanders in a teaser? Yes, I would. I want to run a teaser by you.
We need to do a teaser this week with all the home dogs.
Well, almost. I have one home favorite I think we have to put in a teaser.
That's fine.
But we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Now, are you going to ride with the Commanders on this?
You know what? I will. Because like you said, it's the spot. It's off a loss, fed up, sick of this shit against an Eagles team that won a big game. And this has been kind of their kryptonite. Good D-line. Hurts, even in the wins this year, I don't think has looked nearly that sharp.
Let's do this. I'm not discrediting what the Eagles did. But the Dolphins were down 3 O-linemen.
Yep, and they're top 2 corners.
Correct. The advantage there was exacerbated even more. And as it got towards the end of the game, that game was closer than the final score indicated. Now, Miami was never covering 2.5. But could Miami have covered 6.5 with one play going the other way? Probably. So I'm with you. Okay. I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to go Commanders. I don't feel great about it, but it's the only way you can play that.
You have to. Jags Steelers, our next game. Jacksonville minus 2.5 on the road against Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin as an underdog, as a home underdog. Autoplay Steelers? No?
No.
It's going to be rainy. This is the only game where there's going to be weather. So this feels grimy Pittsburgh Steeler football. And I know Kenny Pickett sucks, but they had a good fourth quarter last week. May have found a spark. They come home. This is a Pittsburgh play. You're not going to sell me Jacksonville, are you?
I'm not selling any part of the game. It's a split ticket. I don't have anything in the market that tells me there's any major opinions. What I mean is tickets and cash is roughly right down the middle.
Okay.
What I don't like with Pittsburgh is I have to take less than a field goal. And until or unless that thing hits 3.
Do you think there's value in waiting a day?
Yes. I think if you want the Steelers, waiting is the right move. Total-wise, there's no play here. This total's down to 40. I have no interest. I mean, Again, sometimes it's okay to look at a game and go, you know what? I don't have an angle. For the Jags, they've just been a little inconsistent for my taste. For the Steelers, I think they're the worst 4-2 team in the history of the sport. They're absolutely a bad football team, and I'm not into this. The volatility in this game is huge.
I will put it as a lean.
Okay.
And you may be adding it to the card tomorrow.
10% shot of that for me.
Okay.
There's 2 games this week that I tell you have no chance to get me to bet. It's that, and it's Colts Saints.
Let's go to Colts Saints.
Let's not.
I wrote no. Listen, with nobody on bye, and we try to keep these about an hour.
Yeah.
I wrote no, and I'm sorry to Colts fans who are listening to this and want like a very nuanced cap, or if you're a Saints fan, I'm sorry. Like,
for me, it'd be Colts or pass. I can no longer endorse the Saints as a favorite.
correct.
The Saints' offense, to me, is dreadful. The Colts, they had a million ways to win that game against the Browns. But when I look at this, I still look at the Colts with Minshew as an upgraded version of who they were with Richardson. You get the two-headed monster at running back. You get a good running game. You get an offense that has shown an ability to move. The Saints is still an offense I cannot figure out. Derek Carr is playing awful football.
Then why don't you play the home dog? Why don't you play the Colts?
Because what is my... Okay. And I'm not being a dick when I say this.
And I think the public is on the Saints too early.
I'm not being a dick when I say this.
Yeah.
When I see a game, generally speaking, where there's no advantage on number.
Right. 1.5.
If this is Colts getting 3.5, this is an auto play. But at 1.5, what value am I getting? Do I know the Colts are going to win this game? Look, if you're asking me right now, it's Colts or pass. I think the Colts would be an incredible teaser team.
Yeah, because now you can get them up to 7.5.
That'd be an incredible teaser
Circle that. We won't let our people down in Indianapolis. We'll put them on the little
Colts
teaser
for me
sheet.
is a lean. But in today's NFL, I want to see at least a 2 on the board for certain stuff, a 2.5. Show me a 2-point conversion. The Colts could make their way to my final card. You could talk me into it. I just said initially my reaction was no.
It's a gross game.
Good bet split. But man, I hate the Saints. And I don't want to let that bias guide me.
Right now, 36% of the bets are on the Colts, but 66% of the money, Action Network.
Leads you to
that is the lean.
Yeah,
it is Colts, and especially in a teaser.
I will put this on my board as a maybe.
Okay.
You've actually talked me into this.
You know what? I think we kind of just talked our way into a game that we didn't even plan to really talk about.
I wasn't going to bet it. Yeah, but I don't find it acceptable to just not talk about a game. I mean, that's not fair of me.
Okay. Well, this next one, let's talk about a couple rookie quarterbacks.
Sure.
And it's the Panthers off a bye, home dog. They're getting 3 flat, bringing in the Houston Texans. Now, Stroud's been the better quarterback.
Oh, he's been
There's
fabulous.
no dispute, no debate.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you blindly bet Houston here. I think it's a lean to the Panthers.
At 2.5, I was going to bet Houston. But what you're saying is spot on. You've got off a bye, at home, and are we really trusting a rookie quarterback to go on the road as a favorite and lay a full field goal? The answer is no. You just don't do it situationally. And if you guys are, look, I understand Jim and I don't want to get in the weeds on a lot of games. I don't think there's a lot of value in listening to a podcast and Jim telling you, 2.7 yards of air yardage. Here's the reality. Betting is much simpler than that. Betting is numbers. Betting is spots. Betting is trends. And then, yes, you can factor in, hey, you
maybe
know what?
1 or 2 key matchups.
This matchup kind of scares me.
Yeah.
But here, no, it is as simple as rookie QB on the road, laying a field goal against a team off a bye.
2 weeks to prepare.
Ask yourself, is that more likely to be a good idea or less likely? And it is, if the scales of justice were tilting, I'm 3/4 of the way to the ground towards bad idea. Now, you're going to go, well, Mike, does a 0.5 point really make that big of a difference?
Have you ever watched the NFL?
Yes, it does. I have no interest at 3. We can revisit it if this thing kind of tempered. Here's the other thing I don't like. I don't like the planet Earth is on the Texans.
Right.
And what did we just talk about last week? The public, 70% or more of bets to the public side. Those teams went 0-8 last week. Not quite 70%, but you're sitting at 63.
Football question.
Yeah, buddy.
Too early, or can we officially say Carolina made the wrong pick?
Too early.
Okay.
You're not wrong for saying it.
I didn't
You're not
say
wrong
it, I
for
asked
discussing it.
Okay.
You're not wrong. Well, no, we work in a day and age where if you ask questions that don't go with a narrative, you're a terrible human.
Right, yeah.
Shout out Michigan fans. You're not wrong for asking it. And do I think it's going to be really hard for Bryce Young to somehow be unequivocally the better player? It's looking like it's going to be more difficult, clearly.
I think there's also something to be said from Carolina's perspective, doing this the wrong way. So everybody else in the league figured out you build the team and then you drop the quarterback in. Carolina's like, nah, fuck it, speed up. Let's just take the quarterback. He doesn't have a receiver. We haven't built up the team. We'll just figure it out on the fly. That's as lousy a situation as you can get dropped into. Not like their roster. I'm just saying a team that hasn't yet built around you and is expecting you to make up for all the deficiencies in your first season.
It is a reason, and I know we emanate from Detroit, but our audience is national. There's a topic I brought up locally this week. If I'm the Lions and if I'm the Panthers, I'm having conversations that center around Jameson Williams and Brian Burns. And if I'm Carolina, I'm looking at, okay, distressed asset, had his best year of his life with my quarterback. I have no deep threat on this roster. Adam Thielen is not a deep threat. Jonathan Mingo is not a deep threat. DJ Chark is not. These people are not deep threats.
You don't have to sell me.
So I actually agree with your take on Carolina. I'm giving a way to fix it, and Detroit would get an edge they desperately need. Now, again, it would have to be JMO plus draft capital.
Mike, I did this like 2 weeks ago, and I was told that I'm the worst person in the world for trying to trade Jameson Williams.
Well, again, it's another narrative. There's an irrational defense of the young man. But 2 weeks later, following a Baltimore game where he played 33 snaps, didn't catch a pass, dropped 2, I'm done.
Yeah.
But no, I just can't go laying 3 on the road with a rookie. If I see something different 24 hours from now, marketplace pricing, big money coming in the other way, happy to revisit. It's a lean to Houston, but not a play.
Cowboys, Rams. Dallas minus 6.5 off the bye, bringing in Los Angeles off a loss.
I'm irrationally into Dallas laying 6 here. It's public, it's square, it's a terrible idea, but for accuracy's sake, I've had one of these public plays a week, and I'm 4-0.
Yeah, public doesn't go 0 for every week.
No, and I'm 4-0 targeting the team. Look at this matchup, right? The Cowboys laying a flat 6. The Rams, look, clearly Nakua and Kupp, it's dynamic, and without Trayvon Diggs, the Cowboy defense is not the same. But when you look at this, are the Rams starting to level off?
A little bit.
They were horrific in the first half against Arizona. Woke up in the second half. They cover. Barely. Then you see the game against the Steelers.
Yeah, they blew it.
I mean, that's just big yikes. Your reward is to now, you got to go on a road, you got to play Dallas. Dallas needs the game, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this a Dallas play here? One of the rare moments we could back them? Or am I making a terrible decision?
I'm trying to read into it. Maybe I'll read into it too much. It feels like Dallas is a little underappreciated right now because I don't think they are off to the start that a lot of people expected, right? People a little down on the Cowboys. Could I suggest this line should be 7.5? Should it be over a touchdown, but it's not?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
So, I mean, maybe that's part of the cap here is you say Dallas is the clearly better team. You're getting them on the right side of a key number, getting them when collectively we're down on Dallas maybe more than we should be, and they're off the bye. The only hesitation I have is I think I kind of like betting the Rams as a dog because of the passing attack, and I love fading them when they're a favorite like we got to do a week ago.
Yeah. Is there any read with the total?
What is it?
Total sitting at 45.5.
Kind of feels right to me.
Okay. All right. I was kind of leaning over. Like maybe this is just more of a little bit more of a back and forth kind of game. But I mean, 27-20, 27, I may get you home.
Like part of my thought with the Rams, if they're winning, they don't have a run game. And McVay is very stubborn about trying to establish the run.
Yeah.
He's also a coach very willing to kick a field goal on 4th and short. Like I don't like them with a lead because they're prone to give it up. But if they're trailing and he has no choice but to just say, hey, go gunsling.
Yeah.
Throw to these guys. Like now I don't know if I want to be laying a number, so I'm going to stay away.
I'm with you. but
Okay.
I'll take Dallas.
Okay, you're going to play. Okay.
It's my one. I love the number. And again, if it was 6.5 or 7, I don't love the number. I love that this is sitting at 6. I'll make it a lean. You want me to finalize the play tomorrow? Give me another day to look?
Yeah, take another. I want you to sleep on it. How about that?
All right, Dad. You got a deal.